Welcome to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. Whew, boy, it's going to be a show. All right. Happy Monday. We are back from July 4th holiday. I hope you all had a very safe and happy Independence Day. I am joined today by none other, a hell of a ride, none other than Matthew Marsden, BlazeTV contributor and actor and producer extraordinaire. I was trying not to call you Matt Peterson.
Again?
No, I said it. Matthew Marsden. Also joined by.
Even confuse the two.
Look at him!
Yay.
Chad Prather in the flesh.
This is how I stare at Matt Marsden. Online, on movies, on TV, whatever. I'm glued to this man.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we've got
the team back together.
We've got
Look
the
at
team
us.
back together. Before we get started, want to thank our sponsor, Cardio Miracle. So for those of you who have not, oh my gosh, Cardio Miracle is a game changer, okay? It's our secret weapon, our good friends at Cardio Miracle. It's sourced by 55 of the finest food, plant, herbal ingredients, best natural flavors in the world. It tastes amazing, and it does amazing things for your heart, for your energy, for your sex drive. I'm just saying. Don't kill the messenger, okay? Vitamin D, like it is amazing. Okay. 60-day money back guarantee. Cardiomiracle.com/unfiltered. That is code Sara, SARA. There's no H. It's just an unnecessary letter. All right. So going into this week, obviously Joe Biden had a 22-minute interview with George Stefanopoulos on ABC News. And, you might be asking yourself, why would Joe Biden continue taking these big interviews? He clearly cannot handle it. And you would be correct in that. Like, you're not wrong there, okay? But I want to play some of these clips from this Biden interview because the hot topic amongst all of the political elites is Joe Biden going to drop out? That's what we're talking about now, right? And we can get into that, but that is the news of the day is Joe Biden going to drop out? He had such a terrible, disastrous night. We're supposed to pretend like he wasn't like this for the last 3.5 freaking years. And is he going to drop out? So let's play Joe Biden. First of all, I want you guys to react to this. Joe Biden explaining why he had a bad debate night. This is Joe Biden discussing debate problems. Here is him talking to George Stefanopoulos about that. Watch.
Questioning when they turned his mic off, he was still shouting. And I let it distract me. I'm not blaming it on that.
Still shouting.
But I realized that I just wasn't in control.
Oh, wait. So the commander-in-chief, okay, this is supposed to be the leader of the free world, is not in control because Donald Trump was shouting. And this is if you believe what he's saying, which obviously was not true because we were all watching the thing that was happening and that didn't happen. Yes? Anyone? Hello?
You notice when he says, I'm not blaming anyone. I'm just going to put that out there, and I'm going to come back to that later on at another point. But I want everyone to notice that he said, I'm not blaming anyone. Does this not give you the feel of the Jussie Smollett interview after everybody knew he was lying, but he sat down with that interview and he was like, it kind of has that feel like this is what was going on. Like this is a confessional. This is not Big Brother. You're not in the private room where you have to talk about how everything's falling apart and you're about to get voted off the island. This is the leader of the free world. This is the guy that we pray to God not only can read a schematic that gets him to the podium, but can be lucid enough to know what the nuclear codes are. Based on this, there's no way.
None, Matt.
Well, this is the problem. I mean, it's not a game. And I think that the Democrats, for the most part, think, well, to them it is a game, right? Because it's all about having power. And what they're not really thinking about is what happens if there's a massive terrorist attack next week? Like, is this guy going to be capable? And clearly he isn't. The other thing is if you anyone on social media is to be believed, like you can see that actually he did really have a bad night. He had a cold, and look at this totally not edited, pre-scripted interview with a Democrat operative, right? Let's look at this and look at how coherent he is. I mean, it's clearly ridiculous. It's like we haven't seen this for the past 4 years. And actually, if you look at some of the footage of him 4 years ago, it is striking. His decline is absolutely terrifying. He really is in a bad place.
And he wasn't in a good place to begin with.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. It was like, which we were already saying in 2019, this guy is gone.
Yeah.
So for you to say, and I don't disagree with you, for you to say, like,
it's bad.
Look at the contrast between when we were saying this guy was gone and now.
If you were to give Joe Biden another term, by the end of that, if he was still alive,
no way.
It'd be like pushing Jell-O across the table. It would be the equivalent of that. I mean, this guy is like a barely animated corpse at this stage.
Listen, you guys are being too harsh, okay? Because Joe Biden, you may think maybe he declines to take a cognitive test and maybe like there's something there. But let me just tell you, this is Control Room. This is Joe Biden on taking cognitive test. He was asked about that. And he said, listen, I take a cognitive test every day. What are you talking about? I'm totally fine. Watch.
Would you be willing to undergo an independent medical evaluation that included neurological and cognitive tests and release the results to the American people?
Uh-oh.
Look, I have a cognitive test every single day.
Every day.
Every day I have that test. Everything I do. You know, not only am I campaigning, but I'm running the world. And that's not how it sounds like hyperbole. But we are the essential nation in the world.
We're what?
Is right. Every single day. For example, today, before I come out here, I'm on the phone with the Prime Minister of, well, anyway, I shouldn't get into detail, but
he forgot. He totally forgot. He totally forgot there who he was on the phone to.
I'm working on what we're doing with regard to in Europe with regard to expansion.
Look, I won't get into that.
Stick. I'm taking on Putin. I mean, every day.
Gosh.
There's no day I go through there are not those decisions I have to make every single day.
And you have been doing that, and the American people have been watching, yet their concerns about your age and your health are growing. So that's why I'm asking, to reassure them, would you be willing to have the independent medical evaluation?
Watch me there's a lot of time left in this campaign. It's over 125 days.
So the answer,
decision.
The right answer right now is no, you don't want to do that right now.
I've already done it.
I would take a cognitive test.
Yeah.
I would take a cognitive test right now. I have nothing to prove.
Really?
Just try me. Try me.
Watch me, Jack.
Watch me. I have no more memory of a fly.
Do you know what it is? You know what Jill's doing? She's getting up in the morning and she's like, Joe, what is your name, Joe? And he's like, Joe? What do you do? I'm the senator from the... No, Joe, you're not the senator anymore. I'm the vice president. No, Joe, you're not the vice president. Yeah, I'm the president of the yeah, that's right. We'll take it. Because you know that... I mean, you heard what she said, right? He's not coming... They are not dropping out of this because they've got Jill and Hunter advising him.
This is treasonous, Matt, is what it is. When you have unelected people, whether it's bureaucrats, which there's plenty of them, or Jill and Hunter who are meeting with White House aides. First of all, Hunter knows that if his dad drops out, his goose is cooked. Mm-hmm. The only way Joe Biden drops out is if he can get a deal with whoever the replacement's going to be to make sure that they pardon Hunter or give him some kind of a sweetheart deal. Jill has built-in palliative care for an old guy as he grows into Alzheimer's. Now, I don't feel sorry for Joe Biden. He's the biggest piece of shit that's ever been foisted on the American public. He's a criminal who pimped out his crackhead son and actually promoted his addiction so that they could blame the addiction in his dealings with Ukraine and China, and the list goes on. They peddled influence using your crackhead son and actually put this kid into addiction and even set him up to be the fall guy. This is disgusting. So Joe Biden is a horrible human being. He's garbage, and I hope the last thing that he remembers before he ebbs off into the darkness of Alzheimer's and full-blown loss of cognition is that the American people rejected him once and for all.
You know, I was reading that there is, I wish I could give credit. I don't know who initially uncovered it, but there was some Parkinson's expert that has been
like 6 months ago,
visiting the White House like over and over, like for 9 times.
The first report of it that they hid was, I think, like 6 months ago. So they've been hiding this. This has been the thing that what we're dealing with. What's coming to light is how many lies they have pushed on the American people. So as George Orwell's 1984, the party is going to tell you, do not believe what you see or what you hear. That's exactly what it is with the cheap fakes, the deep fakes, everything Karine Jean-Pierre said in her press conferences when she said he's at peak mental acuity. Well, so is my shoe in the closet.
But you know what? Here's the other thing. If you look over the past, even going back to Obama, they just lie over and over again, but they used to be very subtle about it, right? Because they say, no, it doesn't matter who his pastor was at his church, the fact that he was a black liberation theologist, that doesn't matter. No, these aren't the droids you're looking for. And with those kind of things, right, you can kind of pass it off, right? You can kind of say, well, maybe not. And I always used to say, and I got into trouble for this, by the way, on set once, I said, well, either this is Obama, by the way, either he is going to church and he's sitting in the front pew of Reverend Wright's church and he's believing everything that Reverend Wright is saying, which is a problem, or he's going to church because he wants the appearance of going to church. So people go, oh yeah, he's a Christian, which is a problem, right? So either one
because
is
that's the
issue.
one that would fit ultimately his ideology that he was willing to sit in.
Yeah, of course. So they're both a problem. But what has happened now is they keep lying. Like they'll lie and they'll say, oh, there are not that many people coming over the border, and we know there's tons. But unless you're actually there and you see, or people really do want to cover it properly, you can kind of explain that away and say, no, because 2 million people going into the illegals going into the population of 350 million, you can kind of explain it away for a little while. But now you're looking at them and they're saying, no, Joe Biden, number one, they're saying he's the greatest president ever, which is clear garbage. And now they're also saying, no, he's the sharpest guy. You saw all those things. He's so sharp. I was with him this morning. He was so sharp. I'm like, look, this is clear lies. I mean, you cannot say he's so sharp and he's the best president ever. They've pushed the lies too far now. Mm-hmm. It's too far. So everyone now is like going, I don't care what you say anymore. You're clearly lying.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the squad members, what's the one? The one that Marjorie Taylor Greene just got into it with a couple of weeks ago. What was that one? What was her name? Anyway, the DEI hire.
Jasmine
all
Crockett?
of them.
All of them.
Is Jasmine Crockett on the squad now?
Crockett, yeah. The Crockett is the one I'm thinking of. I mean, sure, they all are.
I mean, she's...
Why not? If Jamal Bowman was, then so is she. But she's the one who came out and said that he was over-prepared. That was the problem.
Right, yeah.
How many times have I said on this show, I know for the last 6 years, I've stated on this show ad nauseum, and people should, if good editors around here would go find all the clips of me saying, you can't build a house of cards on a fault line in strong winds and expect that thing to stand. It's getting exposed. Everything that I've said now on this program, back when it was another iteration of another show that doesn't exist anymore, they built the house of cards and the winds are blowing.
You're right.
They are a-blowing.
You're right.
And there's a lot whistling through Joe's head, too, but it's a-blowing.
That's fair. So let me play one more clip here. This is Control. Can you be effective for another 4 years from the same interview? So Stefanopoulos is asking him, you're ancient, right? Like, you're older than dirt. You were born when the dinosaurs came about. Can you be effective for another 4 years? And Joe Biden is like, actually, I'm the one who came up with NATO, sucker. Watch that.
Elections are about the future, not the past. They're about tomorrow, not yesterday. And the question on so many people's minds right now is, can you serve effectively for the next 4 years?
George, I'm the guy that put NATO together in the future.
Jesus.
No one thought I could expand it. I'm the guy that shoved Putin down. No one thought could happen. I'm the guy that put together the South Pacific Initiative with AUKUS. I'm the guy that got 50 nations, out, not only in Europe, outside of Europe as well, to help Ukraine. I'm the guy that got Japanese to expand their budget.
He's done a lot, guys.
For example, when I decided we used to have 40% of the computer chip, and we invented the chip, the little chip for the computer chip.
What is he talking about?
Look how
I believe
orange
he was.
is. I mean, can we just say that for a second about like how pale he was during the debate? Now they just spray painted him.
Oh, I know. Now, they're like, Donald Trump, orange man bad. And now they're like, oh, orange might not be too bad because we're going to just spray paint Joe. I believe he was 6 when NATO came about. But listen, he's an amazing leader. So maybe he was the brainchild
So sharp.
at the age of 6.
I was on the phone
behind NATO.
George. I was on the phone with, and I probably shouldn't go into that right now. But when they invented the wheel,
Like
we had just put fire
listen,
together
I can't.
2 days before that.
Have you noticed he does 2 things?
He
leans in.
and he squints.
Let me tell you, I'm gonna whisper. It's Clint Eastwood. It's very Clint Eastwood.
It's like gay Clint Eastwood.
Is it?
Because it's just not like. And then he gets angry.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then he said
yes.
because somehow they've tried to say that passion, right, is anger.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that?
Yes.
He's always very mean. He's always he goes and he's got that. What's that Jeff Dunham character?
Yeah.
You know that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And the Muppets, for sure. Those old men on the Muppets.
Yeah.
He's like this and
I just like to say grumpy
So
cat.
earlier when I said that he said, it's my fault, it's nobody's fault, numerous times in that interview, he kept blurting out, it's no fault but my own. This was no fault by my own. You can't blame anybody else. This was my fault. He's so scared of his handlers. So if you saw him in that clip that came out in the black church when the preacher says, everybody stand up, and he's looking over to the side nervously waiting on somebody to tell him if it's okay to stand up or not, because he's cognitively impaired. He doesn't know what to do in any given situation. He's scared of the handlers. He doesn't know if Jill's going to abuse him, like maybe she's whipping him in the back room, or they're going to withhold his drugs, or he doesn't get his ice cream that night. But I promise you, this is a man under duress. And so when he does that little false pretense of being, I'm going to be the tough guy in this situation, it's all a gag because it's the only thing he knows to lean on.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and take a break, and then when we come back, I want to talk about that. I want to talk about the Democrats who have now called for him to step down and step aside, and then I want to talk about Project 2025. You may have heard about this. Let's give you the details. First, we want to thank our sponsor, Relief Factor. So for those of you, maybe you're living in constant pain and you think this is just my life now. And I'm going to be grumpy with my kids. I'm going to be grumpy all the time. That doesn't have to be your life. Try Relief Factor. It's worked for you, right?
It has, yeah.
It worked for Matt Marsden.
Yeah.
Okay. It's worked for
it works for
too.
me, and I've got my brother on it.
Really?
My brother, like my mother, she'll text me. She's like, "Please send him some more of that stuff." And I was like, I'm a drug dealer,
right?
at
Exactly.
this point, yeah.
He needs. Please, I need
Please,
it.
I was like, you could order it right here at Sarah's website.
You could, and it's not a drug. Okay, you might feel like it is when you take it, but it's not actually. It's an all-natural anti-inflammatory, and it actually targets the root cause of your pain, which is the inflammation. So if you're living in pain, you got knee pain, neck pain, elbow pain, back pain, whatever the case may be, try Relief Factor. Okay, they've got Chad. I'm in the middle of talking. What do you?
There was the president, NOA, I don't know, the weather thing went off. My name.
This is what I have to deal with. Okay, if you
I'm
feel
feeling
sorry
relieved.
for me, if you feel sorry for me,
Factor.
and you want to try Relief Factor, go get their 3-week quick start. All right. They say that within 3 weeks, if you're going to feel better, it's going to happen within this time. So try the 3-week quick start. They've got a guarantee. You've got nothing to lose except your pain. Go to relieffactor.com. That is relieffactor.com. So I want to talk about Project 2025, but let's talk about the Democrats who are actively vocalizing get Joe Biden out of the race. So apparently Senator Mark Warner of Virginia is organizing a group of Senate Democrats to talk about Joe Biden's path forward in the 2024 election. Let me just list to you some of the Democrats who have called for him to not just like questioning, but like, I think Joe Biden should end his campaign. Representatives Lloyd Doggett of Texas, Raul Grijalva from Arizona, Seth Moulton from Massachusetts, Mike Quigley from Illinois, Angie Craig from Minnesota, and a House Democrat reportedly told Axios, the shit is going to hit the fan on Monday when Congress returns. People are scared about their own races, but they're also worried about the country and about Democracy. That's what it's all about. It's all about democracy. They're worried about democracy, which I feel like if they were worried about democracy, they wouldn't be trying to politically persecute Joe Biden's top political opponent. But listen, I don't want to get bogged down by talking about that.
Or let the country be run by unelected bureaucrats.
Right, which is what's literally going on right now. And so instead, they're like, we care too much about democracy. And so we think that Joe Biden should step down. Well, Joe Biden is not heeding to those calls very well. He sent a letter to Congress. He said that he has had extensive conversations with the leadership of the party, elected officials, rank and file members, and most importantly, Democratic voters over the past 10 days or so. He says, I have heard the concerns that people have. I am not blind to them. I wouldn't be running again if I did not absolutely believe I was the best person to defeat Donald Trump in 2024, and I am firmly committed to staying in the race. The question of how to move forward has been well aired for over a week now, and it's time for it to end. This is on top of, guys, I don't know if you guys saw on his X account, formerly known as Twitter, he was like, all in. Oh, I mean, his aides. He's not tweeting.
He's not the one tweeting. Let's be real clear.
Yeah. But his aides, they're like, I am committed to staying in this race. I am the candidate. I'm not backing down. You guys need to get off me. I'm not dropping out. And I was like, whew, okay, well, I guess enjoy the show.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, people on X as well have also been saying, like, where's Donald Trump? Where's he been for the last 10 days? I'm like, probably finally listening to people.
You never interrupt an enemy when they're making mistakes.
Yeah, let him.
Just let him go. Just let him go. Yeah, that's the smartest thing you could do.
So he's got a rally, I guess, today, tomorrow. I don't know when it is, but it's in Miami. And a lot of people have said, well, why isn't he doing these rallies? Well, he's got them coming up, but he stayed out of the way strategically. Now, Joe Biden's bounced from place to place because he's got to do damage control. So here's the thing that I don't know that a lot of people understand. Here's the thing. So there's literally millions upon millions of dollars that have been donated to the Biden-Harris campaign. Mm-hmm. The only person that can use that money if Joe drops out is Kamala.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of big donors out there who are saying, okay, we don't want Kamala. If Joe drops out, you don't expect us to donate again.
What are you talking about?
We're not going.
Talking about? She's great.
Yeah, she's fantastic. That's why.
What are you talking about?
Well, they've got themselves. Remember my House of Cards analogy? They've caught themselves in a catch-22 because they wanted a woman of color. Well, guess what, shitheads? Now you can't replace that woman of color with somebody like, say, super white Gavin Newsom, because you built everything on the fact that DEI is where it's at these days, and she's the ultimate DEI hire. Yeah. So the only person who could literally come in and replace her would be Michelle Obama, because she's a black woman. I know Michelle doesn't want to do it, but she's a puppet and a pawn, and funny things happen when you stick the hand up the ass of the puppet. She will move. She doesn't have to debate. She doesn't have to run on anything because she has no past. She has no politics. She has no accomplishment. She has no policy. She's done nothing but be Barack's husband and a celebrity. So did you catch what I said?
I did.
Yeah, Barack's in it. Yeah. See, you got to feel for Sasha and Malia because they're in the other room and they hear Barry and Michelle getting it on and they hear Barry go hawk tua. So that's one of those things that they've grown up with, and that's something you should have some empathy for. But the Democratic Party has themselves in quite the conundrum here. Yeah. So Joe, which obviously, like as we said earlier, Jill needs him to stay in there. The power players need him to be in there. But man, they're really turning on. So let me get to the point that I'm belaboring. He's not going to listen to Congress. He's supposed to meet with the Democratic governors. He's not going to listen to them. There's a few people that he would listen to. That would be Hakeem Jeffries, and that's because he is the lackey of Nancy Pelosi. He would listen to Nancy Pelosi, and he would listen to Chuck Schumer. Until one of those three people chime in, Joe ain't doing nothing.
And Obama.
And Obama. But in terms of Congress, because the Congress are the ones the elected reps are the ones who sent the letter. Of course, Obama. But I'm hard pressed to think that Obama would jump in and pull him out right now. I don't know, unless it's Michelle.
I totally agree. Well, I read there was some sort of expose, I think it was on the Daily Mail last week, that was talking about the Obamas and the Bidens rift that they have, because I guess Michelle has very hard feelings towards the Bidens for I don't know.
Didn't share the cocaine.
Right, like whatever the hell she has a problem with, but like there is a rift there. So that is why Michelle has not been vocal and outspoken about this presidential campaign.
Didn't Obama say like never underestimate Joe's ability to things up, right? He did say that.
I churched it up.
I didn't.
I didn't say, and do you notice I didn't say it again?
Oh, right, already. You're both
The British guy chose polity.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I got it. Yeah, no.
No, but they're in a lot of trouble. Here's the other thing. I used to be seriously worried. Sorry, why are you laughing at that?
This is almost like we've been smoking weed or something. Like we've been dipping in Kamala's stash.
Let me just,
Hey,
listen, man. Let me just say this, okay? Okay. Forgot what I was going to say. And, no, but we used to, I certainly was very concerned about the mail-in ballots and the cheating and all that. I think it is so bad for them right now. Mm-hmm. I'm actually not concerned about that anymore.
Right.
And I think that they aren't concerned about it anymore because if that was the case, right, you would see them being a little bit more, hey, listen, let's all get on because we're going to win anyway. Because winning is what matters to them, right? It's not whatever they say about loving the country and all that. We don't care about that. BS.
Yeah.
I didn't swear. And we all know that's not true, right? So I don't think they're looking at that anymore as a win. I don't think they're saying, hey, listen, we've got this down. I think it's so bad that they're actually saying, hey, listen, we actually have to do something here to move the needle because he is so bad. And you've seen it all over. I mean, there was something like a 12-point swing on one of the in one of the states after the debate. That's just, I mean, come on.
Unheard of.
It is that bad. So now they're really panicking. So it is, I do think we're at a point where this is unprecedented because normally they'd say, okay, it's Joe Biden, we got to win. Everyone get lockstep behind him. And as you're hearing with these governors, they're like, hang on a second, like this is bad and it's going to affect me because normally I will criticize our side for being very much like the rugged individualist, and sometimes we do need to coalesce behind one person, and we never do, right? For the most part, we don't as conservatives. Certainly not in the entertainment industry, we don't do it. And so, but what you're seeing right here is the Democrats fracture, and that is something they haven't done actually for the past 8 years, at least the past 8 years. They've been in line, because they don't have a brain between them. They are the Borg, they are the hive mind, and so what's happening now is they are splitting. So it tells me one thing: I don't think they've got it down with the mail-in voting and the cheating. I really don't, which is great for us. And I think that they are genuinely super, super worried about what is going on. So it means it must be really, really bad. Yeah. Even though have you noticed on X, though, some of them saying, well, it's really close. And everyone's like, no, it's not. Like, we all know it's not close right now. He's so bad. Even you guys saying it, nobody's believing it, not even people on your own side. So I think we're in a very, very interesting position. Like I said, the best thing to do right now, watch it.
Give them enough rope.
Yeah.
100%.
Blame yourselves. Metaphorically speaking, I wouldn't ever.
Wow, Sarah.
I'm just saying, I don't want to get kicked off YouTube. I'm already demonetized.
You know what the awakening that's happening now on the part of the left is? It's sort of like all of these campaigns that say, listen.
No, I don't want to.
In your mind, you're looking at it.
I don't.
I can't.
No.
You can't look away, actually.
Right. Into something else.
Okay, so this seems like a great time to take a break and thank our sponsor. And then when we come back, let's talk about Project 2025. What is it? Who's behind it? Let's get into that. First, we want to thank our sponsor, Patriot Mobile. So for over 10 years, this is over a decade, Patriot Mobile has been America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. And let me just tell you, their founders, Glenn and Jenny Story, are some of my favorite people in the entire world. They are just amazing to be around. They're great people. They're great patriots. And they are trying to establish this parallel economy that we are all trying to be like, the left is literally trying to erase us, but Patriot Mobile can offer you dependable nationwide coverage. You can access all 3 major cell phone networks. So you're going to get the same coverage you've been accustomed to without funding the left, because with the left, they're going to take a portion of your bill and they're going to donate it to left-leaning causes like, Planned Parenthood, like all of these causes causes that are trying to take your guns. And so if you're watching this program, you know that's not what you're for. If that's the case, switch to Patriot Mobile. At least go to their website, check them out. Okay, they're actually taking a portion of your bill and sending it to free speech causes, religious freedom, the sanctity of life. They're down at the border with Yaku Buyans. They are helping flip all of these very, very integral conservative school board spots. So they have been in the fight. They are on the front lines with you and me. They are putting their money where their mouth is. Go check them out. They've got a plan to fit everyone. And honestly, they're probably going to save you money. Okay, so go to patriotmobile.com/Sarah. You'll get free activation when you use the offer code Sarah. Go check them out. There's no reason not to at least go look. There's no contract, nationwide coverage, 5G connection. No reason not to go check them out. patriotmobile.com/Sarah. Offer code Sarah. Project 2025. This is initiated by the Heritage Foundation, and it aims to prepare for a future conservative administration by focusing on 4 pillars. But I want to kind of go through the high points of this. So their primary goals: restore family values, dismantle the administrative state. I'm listening. Don't threaten me with a good time so far. Defend national sovereignty, secure individual rights. And they've got, so those are the 4 major pillars, but some of the, the ins and the outs. So key policy areas: abortion, remove abortion references from federal laws, restrict access to reproductive health services, and promote anti-abortion policies, federal workforce overhaul, replace current federal employees with individuals aligned with conservative principles, which we need. And then, executive branch reform, economic policies, tax reform, deregulation, free market principles, healthcare, repealing and replacing Obamacare. Do you guys remember when that was a thing that conservatives were talking about over and over? We heard, elect me and I'll make sure that we repeal and replace Obamacare. And then that never happened. And then energy, environmental policies, education. They're supporting school choice, national security and defense. They recommend strengthening the military, increasing defense spending, and immigration, of course. Shut the damn border down. And I would hope, I don't want to speak for the Heritage Foundation, but I would hope deport their asses. I don't care where they actually came from. Just kick them back over the border to Mexico and they can figure it out from there. We can let Mexico handle it since they were so nice to let us handle all of these people coming into our country. They can then handle it. So this Project 2025, and we keep hearing from the left, this is like, it's like far right extremist positions. Oh, Project 2025 is such a terrible thing. And no, actually, it turns out that it's just very common sense strategies to save this country. Now, I do want to ask you guys, I found it interesting. First of all, does this sound like something that seems radical to you, or does it sound like common freaking sense?
It has some radical points in it. Now, the left...
What are the radical points?
I'll get to that. The left, if it pisses them off, I tend to like it. But
right.
The left is always the ones who are telling me what I'm supposedly identified with. I didn't even know what Project 2025 was until finally I heard enough about it. And then Trump came out and said, I don't know what it is, but
And that's what I want to talk about.
And then they here's the leader of the Heritage Foundation shaking hands with Trump on the platform, and everybody's like, see, he knows. And I was like, I shake hands with a lot of people. I don't necessarily know everything they're a part of.
Right.
So I finally went and I looked at the list, and there were certain things like, eradicating choice in marriage and like just basically you can't just have a no-fault divorce anymore. You can't, it wouldn't allow for that. So like in the day and age we're living in, I can see where they're coming from. But I can also see where that's interpreted as a little
bit too radical
thing, and it's a little strong. So I read into the thing. I saw where they were going with it. And I was like, yeah, okay, at the end of the day, I see what they're trying to embrace. Now, what I do see in this is a strong way to limit and make the government smaller, which is what we as conservatives are saying we're supposed to do. It's basically saying, hey, let's return to values and stop letting the government dictate all of our stuff.
Right. Which, to me, I'm just saying, if you had to choose, gun to your head, between... letting the slippery slope that is now gay marriage take root and having now the conversation about what is a woman and can you, change genders and all of this, or having a no-fault divorce.
Yeah. I don't
know. I'm going with the no-fault divorce.
We're arguing with the people that want to
That's what I'm saying. It's like,
understand where I'm coming from. I'm like, you know what? A return to values, regardless of how strong and radical it is, I tend to lean that way.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we've complained for years and years about how wishy-washy Republicans are, and I think we have to be careful not to have that knee-jerk reaction when actually someone comes out and puts forward a conservative agenda that's actually conservative. And nobody's ever going to agree with everything that's on there, and that's okay. But I think, look, the guys at Heritage, I know several of them are very, very solid. They're very smart. They think everything through. And like you said, Chad, if it's pissing the other side off, then it's probably good.
Right.
I saw something like, what was the quote now they said about we'll have a bloodless revolution if the left allows it to be? Did you see that?
I didn't see that.
It was some kind of quote like that. And I'm like, and everyone was like, oh, look at what they're saying. There's going to be a bloodless revolution. I'm like, yeah, they're saying if you will allow it, like if the left will allow it. It's not the right that's going to be the ones that are violent or anything like that when they're going to be bringing in different policies. And as you've seen as well, I think that it's a good negotiating point,
excuse me,
regardless. And people constantly forget the way that Trump negotiates. Little rocket man, little rocket. He's over here and then he comes about there. He understands that in the negotiation, if you start there, it's going to end up there. So he goes there to get that. I don't understand how people don't see this. And even if it comes to something like Heritage, they're setting their stall out. If it comes here from there, that's a good thing.
Right.
Because what we've done, we keep referring to that meme, right, about where the person in the center ends up as far right.
And they're in the same place.
And they're in the same place. They haven't moved. And so, like you said, Sarah, we have to be careful. And I never used to really understand this. When I was growing up in England, there was this woman called Mary Whitehouse, and she would always go on about profanity or nudity or whatever. She was like the school mom of the BBC, as it were, and she was always going out and saying, don't let the television shows go too far this way. Now I look back, I'm like, she was amazing.
Yeah, she was right.
She was absolutely right, because it was about where it was going to go to. So you always need someone to push and fight back. And we've had conservatives have just been terrible at that. They collapse like a flan in a cupboard, like at the slightest kind of pushback. They're like, oh, I didn't mean it. Let me come up with some kind of excuse to really explain what I really meant. No, we do have to draw that line. We do have to have people that are standing. That's why, your Matt Gaetz, your MTG, those people that are pulling it back to the right, whatever you might think of them, they're doing a good job in stopping people moving completely to the left and extreme left. So I don't have a problem with. I'm doing what you did. In short, I like what the Heritage is.
I mean, I like the fact that, these actors, again, like Mark Ruffalo comes out and says, this is America's Sharia law they're trying to institute.
Shut up.
Then the Muslims jumped on his ass and were like, don't you bring Sharia in to your vocabulary. Leave the Muslims out of it. And I was like, this is starting to get good. Like, these people don't even know how their own rhetoric is pissing off their own people.
Right.
I mean, this is like when the pro-Palestine people start beating the shit out of the Pride Parade.
Right. Yeah,
I'm here for it.
I'm here for it.
Y'all are fun.
I'm totally here for it. Well, so you guys kind of alluded to it. So Donald Trump came out, said, I know nothing about Project 2025. I have no idea who's behind it. I disagree with some of the things they're saying. Some of the things they're saying, this is what he said. Some of the things they're saying are absolutely ridiculous and abysmal. Anything they do, I wish them luck. But I have nothing to do with them. It's such a Trump thing to be like, oh, some of that is ridiculous. I wish them luck, though.
I wish them luck. Just like Ghislaine Maxwell. I wish her well, but I don't think it's going to be good.
No, we don't want to wish her well.
No.
So I would be interested to hear what he thinks is ridiculous and abysmal.
Remember,
but to Matt's point, this is the art of the deal.
And remember, it is the art of the deal. And also remember, Trump is not a legitimate, true conservative. He's not. Historically speaking, he's not. He hasn't been. He's still not. I mean, all you got to do is look at his recent statements on abortion and things like that. He's not a legitimate, true conservative. what we're doing with Trump, what we hope to do with Trump is, as you said, let's move the negotiation thing and bring it back. At least, hey, we're moving it in this right direction. Sometimes things become necessary, and the person who can get that done may not be the person who aligns 100% with your values, but by God, they can get the job done because that's what they've committed to do. And anybody that wants to push back on that, that's fine. You're free to do it. But but Trump's record, he's not a true, legitimate conservative, not historically and not now. So, of course, he's going to push back on that and say, I don't like this agenda. But remember what happened when Trump got elected. They said that we hate Obamacare, and suddenly they had a Republican Congress, and they were like, oh, wait, we said we were going to do something about it. We didn't have a plan in place. At least these guys like the Heritage Foundation and many, many others out there, whether you see it as radical or what, they've got a point-by-point analysis of this is what we need to get done.
Which, by the way, you don't have to have that. That was what drove me nuts. I know we got to take a break here in a second. That was what drove me nuts about this whole repeal and replace Obamacare. Why do we have to replace it? Why can't we just go back to how it was before? You guys get wrapped up in like, oh, well, we have to replace it. Why? Because the left is accusing you of leaving people out to die on the streets. They're still going to accuse you of that anyway. So like, don't feed into that. Just don't do it. Just repeal it because, hey, guys, has your health insurance gotten better?
Oh, man.
Has it gotten less expensive since Obamacare was enacted?
Going up.
You hear Joe Biden literally today this year talking about how he is going to improve healthcare. And I'm like, this was you guys' signature plan. This was your plan. You guys were already supposed to improve healthcare. That was supposed to have happened.
Hey, we brought insulin down to
14 years ago. 16 years ago.
You took the rest of healthcare through the freaking roof.
Right. I'm like, oh, you're still talking about healthcare?
And here's the thing about Trump. And I said this when he got elected because people were like, oh, he's not really pro-life. I'm like, it doesn't matter. And I'll tell you why it doesn't matter. Because if someone says to him, they poke the bear, he's going to push back at them
Push him back.
so far.
Yes.
And so what did he do? He basically gave us overturning Roe v. Wade, right? And what he's going to do when he gets in, whether or not he's conservative, someone's going to say, well, you can't do that. And he's going to go,
watch me
do it.
Well,
exactly
especially with the just burning down the deep state. I mean, can you think of someone more equipped to do that?
If he'll do it.
91 indictments.
Oh, he's going to do it.
I think at this stage in the game.
Who the hell else knows more about it than him?
Yeah, I'm going to need everybody in the office right now. I'm going to need everybody in the office.
Right.
Start giving them walking papers right now. The NEA, all that stuff, the Department of Education, get rid of them. They got to go.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, if anyone knows about that, it's Donald Trump.
FBI, CIA.
It's Donald Trump to burn the whole CIA, FBI, DOJ, all of them. If it's a 3-letter agency within the federal government, you got to go. You got to go. All right, we got to take a break. We'll be right back. I want to play for you guys one of the president of one of the largest education associations in the country, talking at their annual meeting, talking about what she wants is the transformative social justice change in the education system in the pursuit of equity. Here is some of that.
NEA delegates, we can do this work. We must do this work. We get to do this work. We will do this work because our students are depending on us to win all the things. NEA, we have to win all the things, all the things, all the things. Our colleagues are depending on us to win all the things. Keep going, NEA, to preserve our democracy. We must win all the things. Delegates, we won't go back. We will keep going forward because we are the NEA.
Still going.
We are the NEA. We are the NEA. And that's what we do.
Man.
And that's why I'm homeschooling my children.
Bitch. The dopamine and endorphin hits that she was getting right there, she didn't want to let that high go. But the NEA, let's be clear, has never educated a single human being ever in the history of their existence. And I don't understand what it is, why these people, I don't care if it's AOC or
what do you mean, these people?
All these people, All of them. Kamala does it. AOC's done. All these people. They want to go out there and they suddenly become a black preacher. Like, what is the deal? Like, if we want to get something across, we got to suddenly become a black preacher, and everybody's gonna stand up and turn into bobbleheads and shake and clap and the whole thing. It's like, what did she say? Oh, the thanks. I said that to my ex-wife and she divorced me. I want to do all the things.
It's true.
And she left.
We got to move forward, not back.
And she
Maybe a little bit to the side.
She a little shucking and jiving and stepping and fetching.
I know who I am. I'm the dude playing the dude disguised as another dude. That dude don't know what dude he is. That's it, right?
Brother,
Rub it down
that word has set us back so many...
What? That's the theme song to the Jeffersons.
Beans don't burn in the kitchen. All the things.
These are the people who are in charge of the teachers.
But again, we make fun of it, but this is how stupid the whole deal is. You're the National Education Association. Could you say something intelligent?
Which, by the way, and that's what gets me is like, even the old school that I was sending my children to, that was a private Christian school, was talking about, oh, well, we think that you should have a certain amount of homework per night. And I'm like, where are you getting this? The National Education Association.
No.
Why? Go look at their bios. They are not in it for the children. They're all in it for themselves. They want to talk about equity. They want to talk about trans rights. They want to talk about racial justice. They want to talk about all of these things. And they want to talk about teachers getting more benefits. They don't give a shit about your kids. Why are we looking to them?
Literally.
Sorry, go on.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, it used to be a vocation. It used to be a vocation. People used to really, really love kids. And now what it's about is getting money, getting a long time off in the summer and getting benefits. They really don't care. And also, as we saw, and I don't know if you've noticed this because this has happened very recently. If you go back about 6 months to a year ago, there are all these trans ideology people, teachers coming out talking about how the kids should come to them.
Right.
And that's just gone. Have you noticed? Like, because people were like, hey, hang on a second. And it's gone. Like, they're not doing it on social media anymore. It is indoctrination. I keep telling you, you have to send your children to private Christian, and I mean real Christian schools. Yeah. That's it. You cannot trust your kids to the system anymore. It's over.
Yeah. Yeah.
They won the long march. They did it.
Did. All right. We got to take a break. We'll be right back. We have like a minute left. Chad, where are you going to be? Can people come watch you, find your shows?
Yeah. I'm in Altus, Oklahoma, Saturday night.
What the hell is that?
Yeah, girl. I'll be in Southwest Oklahoma. The show's about to sold out, so watch chad.com for all the fun stuff is. Then I'll be in Toccoa, Georgia next week.
Great.
Yeah.
I don't know where that is either.
North Georgia mountains. It's gorgeous. Beautiful, beautiful venue. The historic Ritz.
I'll take your word for it. My invitation got lost in the mail.
Come on.
So, just saying.
I'll be celebrating my mother's birthday.
Oh my gosh. Happy birthday, Mom. It's party time.
I'm not going to say how old she's turning, but happy birthday.
I love your mom. Okay, so make sure go to sarahmerch.com to get your I'm voting for the convicted felon mug. I mean, if you are voting for the convicted felon, which you are, or you wouldn't be watching this. Make sure to subscribe to Matt's YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
Look him up, Matthew Marsden Official. There are a lot of imposters.
Look at that man.
So sure, you can't be an imposter for this. Okay, look at that. Look at that.
Oh my!
Handsome, I tell you.